Sure. They look so tiny on the website.
I'm gonna see what this one looks like. Looks really weird, my camera screen. We
were totally fine right over there.
And I think we are on, we're live now.
Oh, okay.
So love it.
Plug this into the thing and then make sure it's on because last time I was
Oh, yeah.
like, there's an on button. Because we were getting all that. Green beans on. Yes, red beans off. And then the little arrows will just take you through it. Make sure. All right, there you go.
Oh.
When did you move things around? Oh, that's okay.
You're closer.
Well, I can go with it.
She's doing
Did you make it so I couldn't change it?
Did you say Katie had something?
No, I don't think so.
Didn't I call you in the email?
Because I did that
Your
first.
email.
It doesn't
yes.
matter. Go back to it.
Is that what I was supposed to reference? That was before the conversation took place.
Yeah. Are we ready?
Yeah, we're ready. I guess. Okay, it's 6 o'clock. I'm going to call the meeting to order. And I am Rebecca Young. I am your PTO president.
I'm Kendra Graff, I'm vice president.
I'm Kristen Howell, I'm treasurer.
And Erin, our secretary, can't make it tonight. I don't know where Jessica is, but maybe she will show up soon.
Wonderful.
Um,
Ladies, you want to introduce yourselves over there?
Hi, I'm Donna. Melinda Zabronic. Jamie Ryan.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start. I just want to do something brief on October 11th. We voted to fund this Empowering Raiders program that came into us as a teacher's grant, but we felt that it was more of a gift that we can give back to the school. And here we're gonna have our reading and writing specialist go over the program.
Awesome. So we have it tonight for you. And I asked them to do this morning. So this is how awesome that they are. And that's because Rebecca asked me to do it last night. But we're happy to. So Lindsay Dittmar, who has a new name as of a week ago, congratulations, is our reading specialist, and Belinda Marshall, our early intervention specialist, reading specialist. So they're going to tell you a little bit just about why our data showed us that we might need something to supplement our writing curriculum, and just give you some good information in general about writing at Rock Prairie.
Awesome. And I put 3 examples of the curriculum that was purchased for us on that table if you want to look through it, just to kind of have an idea of what our teachers are going to be implementing. So just to start, kind of look at some data that is kind of always our focal point, because that kind of lets us know what our greatest need is. So looking at our 4th grade STAR writing results from last year, the approaches, needs, and masters was passing and above. And so 66% of our students passed in the approaching category, 37% of our students met the expectation, and then 20% were considered mastered the expectation. And this was a little confusing, I think, even for teachers when it first came out last year, because to us, meets what it, like we thought that was the passing standard, but then we learned very quickly that they actually were considered passing if they were in the approaching category. So our goal is definitely to get more of those kids that are in that approaching category kind of up into that meets and masters. And then of course to meet those, that 34% too, that did not pass. And then
If you are in masters, you're also in meets and you're also in approaches. Okay,
Yeah.
so you don't combine those three categories to get our total passing percentage. You are named in each one. So everyone that passes in the 66%, if you met the next standard, you're in the 37 and then the next. So the kids in masters are in all three groups.
And then the chart below kind of highlights 4 of our learning standards that our students were weakest in. And I went ahead and kind of detailed these out for you here just to see the specific areas that our students seem to struggle with the most. As far as editing for grammar and mechanics and spelling, spelling commonly used homophones, so really knowing the difference between those theirs, and the tutus. And then understanding the functions and following parts of speech, so getting into nouns and verbs and adjectives and pronouns. And then complete subject and complete predicate in a sentence. So those were 4 of our standards that our students seem to struggle with the most. And then this chart here kind of gives you an idea of the scale score and what category then that would put them in as far as approaches, meets, and masters, and kind of how the difference between the two and how high and low they go.
So the raw score is the number of items. So if you got 0 correct, you're at 0. So you can look down. If you got 18 on the assessment, you were in the approaches, which means you passed according to the state.
And then as far as, we know the writing star test, there's 3 components. You have the composition, and then you have the revising and the editing. And so the composition is scored from 0 to 8, and they do that because they have 2 people that scale a piece of writing, and then those 2 people will turn in a score, and then they use kind of an average of the 2. And this chart kind of explains that a little bit. It's probably way more information than you probably even care to know. But it basically says that, if one person scores them a 2 and the other person, also scores them a 2, then they're going to get a 2. But if one person scores them a 2 and one person scores them a 3, then they kind of look at it and then they kind of determine, well, okay, then you would be a 6 or whatever. And so there's a 4-point scale. And so they look at, is their writing very limited? Is it basic? Is it satisfactory? Or is it accomplished? And so this chart on the left shows that majority of our students scored a 4. And really our goal is to get them to that 5 and 6 range. And so that's why I kind of put that arrow there, which that's really what we're working towards, is to kind of get those 2s, those 3s, and those 4s up into that 5 and 6 range. And so that's kind of our goal. Between basic and satisfactory is where we'd kind of like to all see them fall. So what does this all mean? Basically, our teachers and our students are all working very hard. It's writing is definitely one of those skills that's very difficult, I think, not only for teachers, but for students to learn as well to teach. And there are some amazing things happening in classrooms, and I think that shows. I mean, our data is not awful. The kids are doing some great things, and it shows. But there's always room for improvement. And there are some resources available that will help support the instruction in the classroom, and that will also help the students improve. And that's kind of where our Empowering Writers kind of came in. So could we kind of look at, well, what is our need? And so as a district, and I think as a campus, we don't really have a writing curriculum or a grammar curriculum that our teachers can use that kind of covers all components of writing that students need to kind of be considered effective and proficient writers. I taught in Austin ISD a few years ago, and the Empowering Writers curriculum was a curriculum that I used as a 4th grade writing teacher. And I absolutely loved every component of it. I loved how it was directly aligned to our TEKS. I loved how it was very structured and detailed for me, the teacher, to just take it and be able to implement it right away. There wasn't a lot of work I needed to do prior before I could start using it. It's something that I could use right away. And since I've used it, they've even made it better, as lots of times people do. And so looking at kind of that being a need as a campus, and looking that most of our students really do struggle with those basic grammar skills, this curriculum is something that I really felt would kind of help bridge that gap. So what is Empowering Writers? So this is kind of, if you can visit their website, it's such a great site. You can learn a lot from it. Basically, the one thing I love about it is it constantly talks about the link between good writing skills and higher levels of reading comprehension. And oftentimes our students learn the two in isolation. They learn to be a good reader and they learn to be a good writer. And they oftentimes don't realize how much the two are connected. And so one thing I love about the Empowering Writers program is throughout all of the lessons and the skills that it teaches with the different writing concepts, it constantly throws in that reading connection. So the students are reminded that, oh, you know, when I'm reading and I see this particular text feature in a nonfiction book, that's the same as when I'm writing an expository text and I need to think of my main idea. So they are constantly linking the two and making those connections. And so that's one, I think, really great thing about the program. It talks about the first step in achieving student writing proficiency begins with the teachers themselves. And one great thing about this district, and Robin especially, is she's a great advocate for her teachers and always wanting to make sure that she is helping them, you know, make sure that the instruction happening in their classroom is effective and the best for students. And this is, I think, a program that definitely provides teachers with instructional methods that they need to help those students become more proficient in writing and support those higher levels of reading comprehension, which we know is something that, you know, we're constantly working on with our students as well. So it kind of encompasses literacy as a whole. So what does it include? The things that we purchased for our 4th grade teachers were the expository and the opinion writing guide, the narrative writing guide, and the revising and editing guide. With the expository and the opinion writing guide being one of the main emphasis being that that's what the students will write their composition on for the STAR test, and what seems to be the one they struggle with the most. But the expository and the opinion writing guide has clear and objective-driven lessons that cover all the important foundational concepts. The sections are divided by skill with detailed lesson plans, with multiple opportunities for writing, and they are TEKS aligned. The narrative writing guide has skill lessons that build on each other in sequence, and they have clear-cut lessons for teachers. They have these things called before and after activities, which are good for students who need that kind of reteach and that review. They have quick writes that can be done in 20 minutes or less. So if you have a day where we have an assembly or parties or there's a lot going on and you just don't have your full writing instruction time, there's things in there that you can plug in that don't take a lot of time that students are still going to get that instruction. The revising and editing has all of your grammar skills divided into units. With the detailed lesson plans, there's assessment opportunities that the students can have, and those can be printed online for the students. There's writing connections built in with those grammar TEKS, and so they're not just learning it in isolation, but then they're going to learn how to apply it within the writing. So not only do I know that I need to capitalize the beginning of every sentence, but now when I'm writing my compositions, I can take that and apply it. So there's going to be opportunities for them to do that within those lessons as well. You'll stop me if you have a question. So kind of the way that it encompasses everything. So it talks about teaching the fundamentals. So it really focuses on that genre specific writing. So students can really start to understand that there are all different kinds of pieces of writing. When they grow up and they go into middle school and high school and college, they're going to be doing a lot of writing. And so it's important for them to really study and to analyze those different genres so that they know that every writing has a purpose, that you're not always writing for someone to just read it for fun, that, you know, you're writing because for a specific purpose. There's a lot of guided practice, so students aren't just expected to take something and do it on their own. It's a process, and they take it, the teachers will take them through it. And then they're going to start to kind of build blocks of these writing skills. And so they're just going to take one and build off of it each time that they do something new. Like I said before, there's a big emphasis on the reading and writing connection. So there's lots of deconstruction of text. And that's one of my favorite pieces is they get to see a lot of examples of these pieces of writing and they deconstruct them. So they annotate them and they look at specific parts and they talk about why was this sentence like this. And so before they even kind of jump into the writing themselves, they're looking at different pieces and kind of analyzing them and deconstructing them so that they can understand kind of the process itself. So while they're doing all of this, not only are they improving their writing skills, but they're improving their comprehension as well. So it's going to help them kind of build those necessary skills that they need to excel. It uses literature. So there's some great mentor text in there that allows the teachers to pull out to use as models because we want to expose kids to great authors and great pieces of writing that are already out there. It does a lot of the teaching through modeling. So the teacher does a lot of modeling and then they'll do a lot of guided practice and then they'll go and apply it in different situations. And I don't think our sound is working, but I can share this with y'all. And this link takes you to a teacher, it's kind of her little testimony of how she feels about using this in her classroom. And so it's kind of just nice to see an actual teacher kind of giving her thoughts. So then this is another link you can visit, which will give you a preview of what the guides look like. So basically it'll take you to a PDF of some of the pages that are within the guide. So if you want to go home and just kind of take a look through at some of the lessons and some of the things that the kids will be doing, you can do that as well. And then the great thing is the Empowering Writers website also has so many additional tools that the teachers can access, like extra lesson plans that aren't in the guides, and those are free. And then there's like different videos and things like that that the teachers can do as well. So there's not just the guides, there's some additional tools on their website that the teachers will be able to access as well.
I have a question. So you said 4th grade. Is there any plans for us to be able to use it for other grades in the future also, or are we just doing 4th?
Yes, so we're kind of piloting with 4th right now. We have gone ahead and are purchasing for 3rd grade as well.
With school money. Yeah.
Yeah. And the narrative guide is for grades 2 through 7. So it's very much differentiated so that 2nd grade can already start come and pull resources from that guide and start using. I will be training 2nd through 4th grade coming up here in the next couple months so that they will be able to jump in and start using. The great thing is, kind of being at where we are in the year, they have 8-week pacing guides. And so they also have year-long pacing guides so that if you are in a time crunch where you're like, oh my gosh, it's January, we just got these, how am I going to get all this in? They do have a pacing guide for 8 weeks that allows the teachers to be able to get in what they need to get in that amount of time. There's also additional resources. They have an online subscription that you can purchase as well that has things like virtual field trips and other videos that connect to some of the lessons that you can do like a separate teacher subscription or you can do a school subscription. And so those are things that, once we kind of let the teachers get their feet wet and kind of play around with the curriculum and kind of see how it works, that we can kind of look into possibly in the future too as additional resources for them as well. And there's also, they have a K1 writing teacher's guide as well. So yeah, there's definitely options for the other grade levels.
So, Melinda, you want to talk a little bit about what you've been doing with K1 when you had the vertical discussion with?
Sure. And so really it's been K1-2, where we have taken all of the TEKs vertically and looked at, okay, what is kindergarten responsible for teaching? What is 1st grade responsible for in 2nd grade? And really diving into what each grade level specifically is in charge of teaching their kids. And so we kind of showed them where they need to be in 4th grade. So the long road from kindergarten to 3rd and then into 4th, this is, the process that we have to take in order to get them there. And so if we all come together and do our part at our grade level, then we can really make this work. And so it was really eye-opening for a lot of teachers because they were like, oh, well, they start teaching capital letters and punctuation in kindergarten. And so when they see them in 3rd and 4th grade still not using those skills, it's, it's not because they haven't been teaching them. It's just, they just haven't gotten it yet. And it's having to reteach at the beginning of the year. And so we especially have been focusing on grammar skills and grammar teats because those have been really really hard and a lot of they're just not easy things to teach. It's just number one, finding the time for it, and number two, making sure that they're holding their students accountable for teaching those things. And writing is the hardest thing to teach, really.
Well, and it's hard to make it engaging.
It is.
It's not an easy skill to get the kids interested in and engaged in as other topics are.
And there's so many things that you have to teach in order to be a good writer. It's not just let's teach the grammar skills and let's teach how to write a composition. There's so many other things that are involved, and so it takes a long time, and it takes all content areas to help them do that too. And so that's just something that at the lower grade levels we've kind of been working on to get those kids prepared for the next grade level and then ultimately fourth grade.
And I mean, something great about a resource like this too is, I was on a campus where it was used campus wide, and I was on a K through 6th grade campus, and we used it K through 5th, and the language is the same, and so as the kids move up through the grade levels, the way that they hear it being taught in 2nd grade, because those teams are so aligned from grade to grade, it's like an aha. They're like, oh, my 2nd grade teacher called it the same thing. Whereas when you don't have a central curriculum and things are taught using different resources and different things, like, an introduction might be called a hook with one teacher, where it's called a lead with this teacher, and it's called an introduction with this teacher. The kids move from grade to grade, and they're like, wait, so is an introduction the same as a hook? Like, it can cause a lot of confusion. So when you have like one central resource that your teachers are using at every grade level, and they're using that same common language, when the kids, are reviewing and relearning those skills and building on those skills each year, and they're hearing that same language, it kind of creates those aha moments. And I think you find yourself not having to go back and do as much reteaching, where you're going to be moving forward a lot quicker. So I think that's kind of what we're looking at is, is there a resource out there that we can use, K through 4, where the language can be consistent, and will we start to see some improvement in the areas that we've seen weaknesses in the past. And so it's definitely it's exciting, because I think that the potential for a lot of great things to happen is there, but it's going to be a process too, because it's something that the teachers are going to have to be trained on and become comfortable with, and find, where in their own personal teaching styles can they fit, this curriculum and make it work for their classroom.
So I just wanted to follow up real quick, and then we can take a couple more questions, definitely. But we do have a district curriculum. We have what's, scope and sequence, which lays out broad units. They're called units of study, and incorporates different genres of reading and writing into those. But they're really quite broad. So to make sure you're touching on all the teachers spend a lot of time finding various resources. And part of the reason for that being so open is because the district has always wanted to give teachers the autonomy, to within their classroom, and to not have cookie cutter classrooms in our district. You're good, it's all good. But what we're finding is year after year, the teachers are saying, we wish we had a resource. And so they're professional enough to not turn every room into a factory of worksheets or something. Like, that is not the goal at all, and we don't want to present that at all. But we do feel like we need to help them and give them some more. So we just really appreciate you guys helping fund it. When you were able to do that, it was easy for me to then say, okay, I can do the other half out of this budget that we have for 3rd grade, and then look toward the future if indeed it is helpful for them to do that. So we just really appreciate it. We're excited to finally be able to put something in the teachers' hands that they don't have to go get off teachers pay teachers, or different, what teachers do.
And I think the great thing about this resource too is it still does offer for that autonomy. It's kind of a big basket of pick and choose, what you want. There is a scope and sequence for that, because some teachers really love that structure of, okay, here is what I'm doing this week, and they take it week by week. But then there's some teachers that kind of just like to pull here and implement into different things that they're already doing. And I think that the resource really kind of allows the teachers to still have that autonomy in their classroom, which is great too.
Thank you very much. It was very helpful to to the PowerPoint, and we are happy to fund it. I think it will really bring good things to our students in writing and reading.
Awesome.
I have a question. As far as like pulling in the parents to this discussion, what at home, is there going to be a way ultimately that we can, I mean, we're reading with our kids, we're helping with homework. Is there ultimately in the long run going to be a way that we can help our teachers and our kids as parents, like, you know, maybe using some of the language and saying, hey, while you're reading this, you know, what is the lead? Is there a way that teachers will be able to ultimately get parents involved as well?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. There's a lot of components of the guides that are kind of an option for a home piece. And so like one of the things is the before and after is one piece that when I used the resource, it was the piece that went home with the kids for me. And it was kind of like a quick write that the students would take home, and they would do that portion of writing with their family. And it would be a quick, like maybe 10, 15 minutes where they would have a little topic and they would write with their family at home. But I love the idea about the language because I think hearing that at home and then in the classroom is great too. And that's something that can be put together, I think, really easily with this curriculum is like kind of just like a poster or a glossary of, you know, here's the language that we use for this, to kind of go home maybe with those activities so that you can kind of make that more of a cohesive piece. Yeah, I think that's definitely something that could fit nicely into it.
Excellent question.
Yeah, and then like kids always bring writing and work from school home too. And so just looking at their writing when they bring it home and having that discussion with them about it too. What did you tell me what this is about? Why did you decide to write it this way? And you know, just facilitating that conversation with them is huge because they know that it's important to them. They worked hard on it, and so for you to be able to see that and acknowledge that it's a big thing.
Yeah. Well, and one piece of language that our teachers are already using that is part of this curriculum is the show not tell. And you know, that's all about showing an emotion rather than telling the emotion. So rather than saying he was mad, like what does that look like? Well, you know, his face was red, his fists were clenched. And so just knowing that language, you could read a piece that they bring home and say, you know, oh my gosh, I could totally tell that you showed this emotion right here. You didn't just tell me. So
that was a rubric on something that Grace was just handed back, and I didn't know what it was, like why she was scored, but that exactly, you explained exactly why she was scored for that reason, because she was just telling instead of showing.
Yeah. And writing starts with speaking. So there's a great piece of educational literature called We Learn to Read, we learn to write the way we learn to read, the way we learn to speak, or something of that. Anyway, it's been around forever, and it's a great book for teachers and parents. But you can do the same things when your kids are describing things, you know? So a lot, you know, and when you grow up a teacher's kid, like, so sad for you, right? So sometimes at home, my kids, you know, sweet Molly will say, I'm so bored. And I'm like, what does that mean? I don't even know what bored means. Like, describe that for me. But doing that from kindergarten up, or from when they're learning to speak up, you know, like, I don't like that. Oh, you don't like it? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. And just being descriptive will give them all that oral language. That's why we're trying to do this Talk About It Tuesdays and develop all that language, because they have to have those skills before they can put it down on paper. So, well, thank you guys for giving us time to do this. We had spoke at one time about having a little educational thing at meetings. And so without even meaning to, I think this was a great start. And so we can sit down and come up with some topics for the next meetings. If there's stuff you guys want to learn about, you know, internet safety for kids, or reading, writing, or things with math and things like that, we can do a little 15-minute spiel at the beginning, and you know, that way you're not just coming to look at the budget, you're being fulfilled as a parent as well. So
yeah, this was great, and it really, I think, showed parents and showed us, you know, that how we're going to implement the resources.
And since this is on our broadcast with our hello, one viewer from home, welcome to our meeting. Lindsay can send this to you, and y'all can put it up on the PTO site.
Yes.
So when people are watching this, they know what the PowerPoint was actually saying. So.
Well, thank you. I'm sorry for the late notice.
No, I'm the one that should apologize for that, because I said yes, and then I said, "Will you help? Because you're so much better." I don't really know. They're used to it though, right? Thank you. And I'm gonna, Ms. Dittmar's gonna go ahead and go home. Miss Marshall stays because she's our
She is our
staff
teacher
rep,
rep.
so.
So I'll just go ahead, because we have a few things to talk about, but I wanted to go ahead and give some citywide updates. Today is voting day, so if you haven't already, after this meeting, I just encourage you all to go vote. There's a place right here on Rock Prairie, so we can just take 2 seconds away. There's a few things. There's a District of Innovation public meeting on November 8th at 4 p.m. That is tomorrow, yes, at 4 p.m. And then there is a CSISD board meeting November 14th at 7 p.m.
I'm looking it up for some.
Yes. And then these are notes that I got from the citywide PTO meetings from September and October. And the citywide PTO meetings are when presidents of the PTO and the principals all meet together, and the superintendent kind of goes over what's going on in the district, and then different schools give what's going on amongst their schools. And I thought this was interesting. We had a 3.5% increase in students, which was about 450 students district-wide this year, and only 50 kids were displaced by the hurricane. That was a pretty good number. And the Education Foundation Grant Patrol is November 9th. The Education Foundation, they are the big grants where we give out the little grants. And their website is givetokids.csisd.org. I just encourage you all to go look at the website. It's really informative, and they do so much for our schools and for our community. And I would actually like them to come out as well and kind of give a kind of an intro of what they do. And then let's see.
The District of Innovation meeting is in the boardroom on Welsh.
Yes. So if you guys have time to go, I encourage you to go and listen to what they have to say. And that's all I have for the citywide update. And it's Ms. Jones.
Yeah, so I pretty much every update that I would have is coming out in the Jonesy News. So I just like to let you guys, do you have any questions about anything going on I can answer now? I don't have a lot more to say than what I'm sending out, and we spent time on that. So
Okay.
upcoming Friday we have Space Day. We're super excited about Enrichment Day, and you know your child can dress up as something from space, and I just can't wait because I can't think of anything right now, and I think who thought this was a good idea, and so I'm working hard to come up with something. So I hope the children are as well.
Cameron came home and told me I needed to buy something.
Oh no.
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 Pretty sure that's probably not what you were talking
Not
about.
so much. Yeah, use your imagination, and you know, really, what does a comet look like, and how could you be that? And so, yeah, so that'll be where we love those enrichment days, and that'll be Friday. And gosh, in 2 weeks, thankfulness with our family. So I know I said in my newsletter this week, but we really are just so thankful for all of you and all of you listening at home, and just getting to spend time with your kids every day. It's very special. So.
Thank you. Melissa?
Okay, so kind of on the same note as Robin, because you know we've been doing the same thing. So kindergarten, first and second grade have all gone on their field trips, and they all had a great time. And they wouldn't have been able to do that without you guys, and so thank you. And then I know our teachers are super excited, and they've been purchasing things from their teacher grants. So they've been getting those things in the mail too, and I see lots of boxes by the mailboxes. So that's really exciting for them. And then, just like Ms. Jones said, our kids are super excited about Space Night on Friday and our whole day on Friday. And so they are pretty pumped up about it. So thank y'all for getting that stuff together too. And that's it.
All right. Kristen?
Okay, so we will go quickly over money since everyone's favorite topic. If you hopefully grab one sheet has September and October monthly amounts, and then our yearly total budget. So just a quick September, you'll see the main points are income. We did really well with family sponsorships this year, and those are families in Rock Prairie that chose to give a donation and have their name on the back of our shirts, and we made almost $3,000, which was more than we expected, and so that was a real blessing to be able to have all those family sponsorships. And then also September started our Booster Zone collection, so you'll see that's our other big kind of income from the month of September, was starting our collection of our Booster Fun run amounts. We also as far as what we kind of started paying out in September, it was mostly t-shirts and teacher appreciation. So September, we started, we bought yearly birthday gifts for all the teachers, and then you'll see lots of CC creation transactions for all our different shirt orders. And so those were mainly our big September income and expenses. And then if you'll flip it over to October, you'll see it was again more booster-thon, and then our other big, which we did not expect, was book fair dinner, which was a huge success this year, and actually made us money, which we were not, we had not planned for, and so that ended up being a huge success. We sold spirit sticks, we had dinners, we sold shirts, and it was a great event that helped our income line item for the month of October. And then you'll also see we started lots of field trips in October. So like Ms. Marshall mentioned, we had kinder field trip, first grade field trip. The second grade is actually in our outstanding checks because they took it at the very end of October, but that was also in October. And so we were just having busy months, you know, things are starting to come in, and it's a busy time for being able to get our students on their field trips, and lots of spirit stick sales, which I think has been really fun to see the students be so excited about. And then I'm trying to think if I missed anything.
We also, in case you guys don't know, if a child receive or gets recognized for something that they've done, we call those U-Rocks, and they're very specific things that teachers recognize that exemplify what a Wrangler is. We've been giving them a spirit stick with that, and those little things are like golden.
Yes,
They're
yes.
Who knew, right? And we also gave them to students who got Wrangler recognitions, so either Rockin' Wranglers or Yet to Yes, and so that was special for them as well.
And I'll speak to more. We're going to start giving it more in a minute. One other thing on income is our Chick-fil-A Spirit Night was hugely successful. We made over $600 on that night, and we got that in October as well. We also in October started paying out teacher grants, so you'll see a few of those on here. Most of them will be in November, so that is really exciting for our teachers and be able to get those out. And so if you want to look to our yearly budget real quick, just some big things to point out. Booster-thon overall, we exceeded our what we thought we would do, and so that was a real that's a good thing. Also with our t-shirt sponsorships, like I said, between family sponsorships and business sponsorships, we did really well and exceeded our expectations. Also book fair dinner, and several other things we've exceeded what we expected. So I just want to point that out because we're projecting our fall fundraiser to be significantly under what we expected, which is fine. And so I just want to point out that that's a good thing that we've done well on a bunch of the things, because that will help cover the shortfall that we're expecting from our fall fundraiser. Also on the yearly budget, I did want to point out, so Kroger sends us an email. Hopefully most of you have, if you shop at Kroger, have gone on and done their community rewards in Rock Prairie. We only have, where's my number? 90 households registered for Rock Prairie. And so clearly we have lots more families than 90 families. And so we can make right now with just those 90 families, almost $450 a quarter, which is a big amount. So I would just encourage you to tell your friends and family and anyone, they don't necessarily have to go to Rock Prairie, but if they would be willing to add Rock Prairie as their community rewards, that would really boost our Kroger rewards. And that's just free money that Kroger gives out to schools. It doesn't cost you anything extra. When you're buying stuff at Kroger, it's just a percentage of what you buy. So that would be a really easy way to help Rock Prairie, is by getting more people to put that on their Kroger cards. As far as our yearly expenses, you can go down and see we've started, field trips are in there. Our fall event, we've already paid the big portion for that. And none of our expenses have exceeded what we expected. As of now, you can see we started, having staff appreciation events, and teacher grants started coming in. One thing about Spirit Monkey is, so this year, since it's our first year doing Spirit Monkey, we put a big line item to try to help, start our collection of spirit sticks and be able to provide the school. And so that's where you'll see we've made a lot of money, but we've also spent a lot of money. And so we're getting closer to our kind of breaking even. And so we have just started purchasing to be able to give each teacher in the school a certain amount to be able to give out to their students. And so we're really excited that because it's been so successful with students in the school, we're going to be able to start giving ones for free to teachers and being able to give more out to students at no cost to them. And that was always our goal. And we've gotten there really quickly, which is a great thing. So I think those are the major, income expenses. Does anyone have any questions about money? No. So if you do, you're always welcome to email me or stop me in the hall or give me a call. We're open and honest and try to show you everything that we do. So that is all I have as far as the treasury report.
Thank you. Erin is not here today, and so we'll have to approve the minutes. Motion to approve the minutes from September meeting. Okay, anyone second? Okay, all approved? Say, okay. And Jessica, do you have anything for communication or no?
Make sure you like us on Facebook.
There you go.
I send out the emails on Sunday nights, but if I get new information before the next Sunday, I put it on Facebook. So that's where you'll find out stuff first, I guess.
Super helpful. And I share it on our Facebook.
Yes.
Thank you.
And so I wanted to go over the fundraising update for Boosterthon because we sort of are at our crossroads of sort of what to do about next year. And so first, I just want to thank everyone for supporting Boosterthon because it's a really fun event. And if you had gone to the Globe Run, if you got a chance to attend, it was really fun, and our kids really do love it. And I can't think of a single fundraiser that would allow us to do what we were able to do with the funds from Boosterthon. I have searched high and low constantly over and over and over again. But with that being said, this is our 6th year of doing Boosterthon, upcoming for next year. And funny as it is, we have to make a decision like 2 weeks ago for dates. And but we don't know what we wanted to do, and we wanted kind of inputs from everybody else. So so how we currently do Boosterthon, it's based on a sliding scale of how much money we raise and how much money we have to give them. So right now, we approximately keep 53 to 54% of the money pledged. However, there are ways that we could keep more of the money that is pledged to our school. But to do that, we need more of a commitment from our parents and our families to kind of help us out more. Currently, they do about 100% of the work for us. We just kind of show up to mid-meeting, or we put stuff on Facebook. They send us everything to kind of promote, and they teach the character lessons. They hand out the prizes. They make sure that all of our parents and families are happy if there are complaints. And so they really do get the students pumped and excited about the program. There are 2 other options that we can do for the Boosterthon. We have the event program, which we did our first year. With that program, we keep about 60 to 62% of what we raise. They come and do the pep rally, and then they come and do the fun run, except the day of the run. Parents and faculty are responsible for teaching the character lessons, and they're also responsible for handing out the prizes and doing the daily communication. They'll tell us what to send, but we're pretty much running it from behind the scenes is what they do. Our other option is Fun Run U. This is currently what Spring Creek is doing. And with Fun Run U, you do everything yourself. We get the character lessons, the online platform, promotional tools, and the prizes. But we take care of everything from setting up the pep rally, setting up the run, and running both events. But with that, we keep 77 to 79% of what we pledge. And so I guess the choice is, do we continue how we're continuing it, or do we try one of these other options and see how it goes? I mean, does anyone have?
I do have some questions. Can you share with us what you learned from like the Spring Creek? I know you went to the pep rally the other day and kind of what you saw, how much went into that?
So I did not go because I had a sick kid, but Erin
went.
And so Erin and I had a conversation and beforehand, and we had said that we would never be able to do this. And when she came back, she said, we can totally do this ourselves. And she thought, and they had the color guard come in. The students were as pumped. She felt that they were during their pep rally, brought on by their teachers and their principal, that our kids were with when Booster Thon does it. Like they were as excited as our kids were. So, and it'll be interesting to see how they do the run, which is on Friday, which we're going to plan on going, and how will they do. But I really do think that they will be really successful in the run, and they seem pretty happy with how the program is going so far. So,
Did they say how many volunteers they had to get from the school to do it that way?
So they had lots of volunteers. So they had someone who just did. They had like a pep rally committee, then they have a run committee, and then they have a prize committee. So there was somebody in charge of each of the committee of volunteers underneath them.
So what would you think of maybe sending out a survey to see who might be willing to help do that? And to see what type of participation we could have on a volunteer standpoint before you make a decision?
Yes, I mean, we could do that with just as it stands right now. The dates, because we want to push it back a little bit further in October. This will help with kinders and first graders getting kind of adjusted to gym before it's interrupted. And then they have to kind of learn it all over again, like the rules and stuff. And so to help push Lynn out, we decided that we'd go ahead and push it back. And then it also helps us too, because it's a crazy time with t-shirts and trying to get everything organized within that week or two time frame. So it would be helpful for, I think, everyone if we just pushed it back a little bit. But we can send out a survey to parents. Ms. Jones, could you email out a survey?
Absolutely.
And see what kind of commitment, because it would really be nice to keep more of the money. I mean, it's always been nice. And my hope is that if we are able to do and keep more percentage ourselves, then we don't have to follow up with another fundraiser right after we just finished one.
And maybe the survey, I kind of want to take it to a different level. I want to have that commitment made now. Like, I would love to chair the pep rally or the whatever. Like, make that, we need to know now.
Yes.
I feel, sorry, I'm getting passionate about this.
Yeah.
We need to know. I think it could be really fun to have some preparation starting now, and we can get excited now and be better prepared for it when it actually comes around.
Well, and that's true because there's other options. We can do the glow run again. We can do they have an obstacle course this year. They have a PX90, which didn't really sound fun to me. So I don't know if I would give that option, but we could but they had a few different options that we can do for the runs itself. But I also, they have been really good to us. We really enjoyed having them on campus this year. They were really, really great. And I felt like they really listened to our concerns the previous year and really addressed that and went way above and beyond this year for us. And the glow run was just so much fun. So, okay, I will work on a survey.
I think the great thing too about Spring Creek piloting this year, thank you, Spring Creek, is I think it's easier to ask for specific volunteers than to say we need 30 people to help run Booster-thon. People don't know what that means. That's very abstract. But if you say we need 5 people to come from 7 to 8 each morning and pass out prizes, okay, I can sign up for that. I can commit to that, And so if we can have really specific jobs, like you just said, I want to be in charge of or co-chair the pep rally. Then that's something somebody can do and understand, and then it's over with, and they don't feel like it's the entire project, and it's just not ambiguous. So I think we always get more volunteers the more specific we are. Like, I need someone to cut out, laminating in the workroom. I can do that. People can do that. but when it's, now I'm just repeating myself, but you all know what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I think that's perfect. Okay, well, you and I can get together and we can create a survey and hopefully we can get it created this week and sent out so that we can kind of really make a decision and dive boosters on for the dates that we want. Our other cookie dough product fundraiser is going on. Our hope with this one was just to kind of get it out of the way for the year and focus on not having the spring fundraiser. But we will continue to look at the budget and see what that looks like. But the cookie dough fundraiser goes until Friday. You can register online. If you register your student online, you get entered into a $250 Visa drawing gift card. That is not provided from the PTO. It's provided from the company and does not come out of our budget from what we make. And but you can also hand in your order forms and collect orders that way. And we will be collecting those on Monday morning with the order forms and the money.
Do we have any idea about the percentage of?
Last night we had 67 students registered online.
You know what? After doing so much that we've done,
Yes.
thank you, you
Yes.
67 people
Yes.
who have done that, and I applaud that.
No,
I thought you were going to say 6, and so because people are tired,
Yeah.
I know.
and so
And
thank you.
I mean, I really do, because I know it's hard. It's hard, and I appreciate all of you. I really do. I'm very sorry.
Some of these prices, keep in mind it's a fundraiser. I had to remind myself that because like wrapping paper in my world does not cost $16, but it's a fundraiser. So, and it's really cute wrapping.
It's really, and it's reversible too.
It's 2 ways. You can recycle it.
Yes. Okay, so I am there. Teacher grants, Kristen.
So we kind of already talked about it, but we were super excited this year with our fall teacher grants. We had, I don't even remember, almost 20, I think, submitted. We had a lot submitted. And our budget for each semester is $2,500. And so I just want to go over a couple of the things that we were voted on to use the money for. So we provided STEM activities for our librarian. We were able to buy math games and supplies to, I think it was 4th grade math, 4th grade ELA teachers got lots of books for, I don't remember what they were called.
Literature circles.
Yes. So they needed 6 of one type of book for students to be able to talk about the book and read it. And so we funded that. There was kindergarten alphabet arcs and maker spacers. I am not talking maker spaces activities for Ms. Ramiro. We did more alternative seating, privacy fences. They're starting a card club for, I think, 1st and 2nd graders. And so we were really happy to just be able to provide a bunch of unique and different things to help our teachers in many different ways this fall semester.
Well, we really love doing that, and we're happy to go ahead and do that. And we're able to do that with the fundraising dollars that we make, mainly from BoosterCon and our secondary fundraisers. Talked about Power Rangers. I'm very excited that just a quick playground update that the buddy benches are in. I was really excited to see them. That's one of the gifts that we were able to give back to the school last year, and they're finally up. So, spirit sticks. Okay. She mentioned before, I'm not going to go into it as much because we're running out of time. But spirit sticks have been going really well. We will have some special space ones for Space Night. And then we will have the holiday ones in December. The first Friday of every month is we'll continue to sell them. And like she mentioned, I'm about to go head home and order the Valentine's Day ones because they just came out today. But with that ordering, I'm going to go order more for the U-Rocks. And then I'm also going to order enough for each teacher in the school to have 20 sticks to give out to their students for whenever they, want to hand them out or see fit to hand them out. And so we're really excited that we were already able to do that for them. Butterfly Garnet Jessica cannot make it this evening, but she had something really excited that she's excited to share.
Yes, I know what that is.
Yes.
Yes. She is Okay, Jessica, just forgive me for this, but essentially, she is very involved with monarch butterflies and migration and tags them. And we are for less than $20, I think. It's coming out of my admin item line on the PTO budget, but it's some sort of station.
PlayStation?
Yes, that is involved in that. And it actually, our butterfly garden then will become on the registry of really awesome butterfly gardens that have these stations. And yeah, it's just, that's super cool. She was like, can we please do this? And I was like, yes, like yesterday. So she just put so much time into that butterfly garden. And we also have another parent who has taken it upon himself. If you may see him out there sometimes, he's the one that's actually planted like the vegetables in the front. Like when I was walking by and I was like, we're growing food out there. And that's super cool. He's trimmed all of the crepe myrtles, the trees, everything. And so I just love that. I love the families are taking ownership of that space, because that I don't have time to trim the crepe myrtles, And so, yeah, so thank you. And thank you, Jessica. And that is what that station is. So I'll put something out in the Jonesy News when we get that.
Yeah. Okay. And book fair.
Book fair. Katie's not here, but she shared the information. So we did really well. Our librarian is very excited. We our total fair sales were $8,833. And she said that because they doubled the profit through Scholastic, our librarian can now get $4,000 in Scholastic dollars to buy books and materials for our very own library.
Yes.
So that's very exciting. And I don't know, parents, if you haven't been in here, it's super cute. She's been working hard in here and making it our own space with a lot of characters. So.
We also, if you'll go back on the Rock Prairie Facebook page, you'll see the picture of the back of my car when we loaded up books and took them down to Clear Creek, and the box that came from the book fair was filled. And so people bought an extra book and threw it in that box. And it was just my contact there when she met up with me, her car is much smaller than mine. And I was like, but we fit them all in there, and she was so excited. And so thank you to everybody who helped with that too.
Valentine's. Oh, there you are.
Valentine's
Valentine's.
or winter?
A winter party. I don't know why I put Valentine's. I apologize.
I was like, forward thinking.
Everything's coming up fast though. But the winter party is on December 22nd. So room parents, if you haven't thought about it yet, I know we just finished fall party, but it's definitely time to start thinking about talking with your teacher and seeing what they want to do, and just getting that plan so you can relay the information out to the parents in your classroom.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so space night. I know that we're going to have enrichment day during the day on Friday, but in the evening, from 6 to 8, we will be having a free event for our school. There'll be free pizza from Marco's, drinks, moon pies, and we are going to have some crafts. We have some people from A&M coming with their telescopes, and they might have a special telescope. They're going to be set up on the west side of the school. They're very specific. So set up their special telescopes for people to see, and they'll kind of guide them. And then we're going to have the planetarium. And I was told that it will be different from what the kids saw during the day. So it'll be a little bit different so that they would be seeing something new. And so, yeah, we're really excited about it. And we love being able to do these free events for our families. And by free, I mean, you don't have to pay for pizza. You don't have to pay for anything. Just come and,
And you do need it when you get here. You'll need your ticket to go see the scheduled show
showing.
for
Yes.
the planetarium.
Yeah.
So
Do
it
you
only
get that
holds-
when you get here?
You get-
Oh,
yeah.
So it
Yeah.
only holds 90 people, so
Mhm.
we've pre-done 90 tickets, so that when 6:30 sells out, then people can start getting the 7 o'clock show and
Yes.
stuff like that, so yeah.
But there'll be
Love
some
the ticket.
arts and crafts for them to do, like make moon rocks and constellations and space stars. And so, yeah, so come out. I hope to see lots of people out here.
And just this afternoon, I had a sorority
Yes.
organization say, what can we help you with? And I said Friday night. And so there's gonna be some people here helping with that. So that's always fun. So thank you. I can't remember your names, Shorty, but I will.
We appreciate your help.
Yes.
Spirit Night?
Spirit Night, the next one is next week, Tuesday, November 14th, at Photo Records.
Yes. So hope to see you
So
guys.
there should be a flyer.
What
going
time
on
is it?
sometime.
Is it all day or is it?
We'll find out.
normally all day.
I think it's all day, and I think there's a, is there a bucket?
Yes, they normally have a bucket by the register.
Okay. So if you don't want to cook dinner and you're in the mood for burgers, come out and join us.
Or not, I went through the other day, I'm just gonna tell y'all, I'm sorry, I say something with everything, but it had nachos. Okay, they're like the biggest nachos. They were really good. So it's not just about burgers anymore.
They have really good salads too. I got a salad last time I went. It was so good.
Kind of sell that.
See something for everyone.
That's something for everyone. Yeah, so please come out. They're always lots of fun. My kids love Spirit Nights. So after this event, we're going to start planning our sock hop, and we'll send out an email for that. If someone kind of wants to even head up the sock hop planning, go ahead and contact us. And we're really excited about this event. It'll be lots of fun. And again, this will be another free family event. We just really are just trying to get to space night, and then we'll start planning the next one. Jessica is not able, again, to be here this evening, but she did text me for staff appreciation. She said that the staff appreciation lunch went great. The teachers loved the taco bar, and she appreciated all the parents who brought food in. Thank you guys for helping. And then Goodies of Gratitude is Tuesday the 21st, and the sign up for that is coming in. And for those of you who are new to the school, Goodies of Gratitude is when our we bake or we buy home or store-bought pies and desserts and stuff for our teachers and our staff, and they go on a lottery system and they pick out what they would like throughout the day, and it's just our way of giving back to them for the holiday. And here there is lots of fun during that day.
We had about 25 this morning.
Oh,
So we need 86.
86
for
okay.
everyone to have dessert.
So please sign up. It can even be like a dozen cookies. So if you make a batch of cookies, it can help out you. It doesn't have to be
Miss
pretty.
Quinn is already trying to figure out how she can get the #1 ticket. People go really crazy about that. Y'all have no idea how much you just bringing in something so simple that you made at home.
Thank you so much. We're happy to do it. I love to do it. And lastly, the yearbooks order forms are going to be sent home fairly soon. I think we're going to do an online option. We have to order them pretty early so we know how much what our numbers are. But I just want to kind of remind everyone that these are not attached to any t-shirt sales. I know there's always some confusion every year that say that parents bought a yearbook at the beginning of the year with their t-shirt. We did not use that as an option this year. So if you, and we'll kind of remind you throughout the process of ordering the t-shirts, through ordering the yearbooks, that again, you just purchased a t-shirt. It wasn't a bundle deal.
And we are doing it online this year. I'm actually working with the Johnston's guide to set it up, but we are going to have that as just an easier option, hopefully a little less paper for order forms, but you will still be able, you don't want to do it online, you'll still be able to turn in a paper order form also.
Does anyone have anything else? Anything I'm missing? No? Okay. Well then, then I will adjourn the meeting at 7:01, and I'm sorry that I went 1 minute over.
Wow. Good. Bye, one viewer at home.